Hello dear viewers, and we're back again after that amazing report. Now, Oraib Alfozan, she is the head of learning and development and executive coach, using her expertise, experience, and education from her master's in psychology to design effective training programs throughout the Middle East. Now, her question is why smart, capable people still doubt themselves. Now, let's welcome Oraib Alfozan, PCC, MSc, and Head of Learning Development Executive Coach. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So the first question is maintaining routine and normalcy. So what is that about?
Oh, that is definitely something that's crucial, especially during these times. Things that shift you out of routine, out of your comfort zone, out of your personal safety. And then trying to establish a sense of routine and normalcy, even if it's something small, something like one thing that you can keep regular every single day.
All right.
So it helps.
So you talked about the oxygen mask example. So helping ourselves before helping supporting our kids. So how does that work?
So basically, we always say this in the airplanes, right? They always say, like, immediately you have to put your mask on first before you help your kids. And there's a reason for that, because if you're not doing well, if you're not taking care of yourself, how do you take care of others? So then this becomes crucial.
So the question is, how do we actually can take care of ourselves, especially under these kind of circumstances, and try to admit that to our kids?
So this is where, first of all, you need to understand that kids mirror you. So how you react, how you outwardly express what you're feeling, your fears, your doubts, they will mirror that. So a lot of times you'll see that kids don't know what a threat really is until they see their parents, the safety figures, reacting to that threat.
So meaning that if I feel fear, they'll feel fear too.
If I show it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So the question is not about faking it. It's more, yeah, I'm a little bit tense. This situation is a little bit out of normal, but we're okay. I'm going to take care of you. And so they feel that sense of stability.
And that's also a learning curve for the kids, showing them that, yes, I am scared, but it's okay to be scared and try to get out of it at the same time.
Exactly.
All right. So how to reassure kids or talk to them in these kind of times?
So a lot of the tips that we saw that I think a lot of experts as well agreed on is making sure you get curious on what your kids actually know first.
Okay.
So asking them questions, what do you think is happening? Why do you think the sirens are on if they ask questions like that? Why do you think the schools are out? Just to see where they are, and then you communicate with them accordingly. So you meet them where they are.
All right. Is it better to actually not tell them what the situation is happening, or actually being there and being honest with them?
Being honest is always a good thing, but then that's why we ask, what do they already know? So that based on that, we can communicate with them.
All right.
Because there's no sense in giving them a sense of panic if they're okay as well.
Because there's some parents that actually kind of feel that not telling the kids is kind of better, so that they don't have that constant fear or that constant buildup of questioning themselves, and times that they might not be there as parents, just in case if they're at work or something, especially for those that work in areas where it's where everything is happening. So how can they actually make them feel better, knowing that, let's say, their parents work in a specific area where danger is there, then how can I make them feel safe with that happening at the same time?
So this would depend on their age as well. So this is where we keep it appropriate according to their age level. So if they're like under the age of 5, for example, there are certain things I don't have to tell them.
Okay.
So age appropriate, like if it's teenagers, then yeah, you can be honest, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the age, depends on how appropriate it is, what to share, when to share it. And then at the same time, giving them that sense of reassurance that, hey, we're adults, we've got you. It's not your concern, it's ours.
All right, perfect. Now, what to say to them when they hear loud noises? Now, this is the main question that everyone actually, it's not just hearing, it's actually feeling it, because you do feel a thump in your body when you actually hear that.
Absolutely, and I think it got to the point where now even when neighbors start moving furniture, you're kind of getting that anxious feeling. It gets activated, right? So in these cases with kids, it's like, okay, you watch your reaction first. So if I'm screaming or if I'm like getting shocked, they're going to immediately start crying or screaming. So watching your reaction and then just telling them, it's okay, we're all right, we're just gonna check the news, everything's fine. Hey, why don't you put on some music? Why don't you do this? Why don't we do some activity?
All right, we're gonna take a short break and we'll be right back after this, if it's okay. All right, after this we'll be continue, dear viewers, so stay tuned.
وتؤكد وزارة الكهرباء والماء والطاقة المتجددة بأن عمليات توليد الطاقة الكهربائية وتحلية المياه تسير وفق الخطط التشغيلية المعتادة. وتؤكد الوزارة على جاهزيتها التامة للتعامل مع أي طارئ من خلال خطط متكاملة تتضمن الإجراءات الواجب اتباعها لاستمرارية الكهرباء والماء. وتوفر لدى الوزارة كفاءات وطنية مؤهلة وعلى أعلى درجات الاستعداد لتفعيل هذه الخطط متى ما دعت الحاجة. والمخزون الاستراتيجي من المياه العذبة في البلاد في ازدياد، إلى جانب توفر مخزون من المياه الجوفية، مما يعزز قدرة المنظومة الوطنية على الصمود والتعامل مع مختلف الظروف.
Hello, dear viewers, and we're back again right here. Good morning, Kuwait, and we're going to continue our journey with our guest, Oraib Alfozan. And now, the other question is, now, limit the information flow. The kids are exposed to, what they don't understand.
Yeah.
We did talk about age appropriateness, but is there specific information that we also cannot tell them?
So this goes again with their access, right? So if they're, for example, kids using social media, they have access, then yeah, the news is bound to pop up. You're going to see a lot of videos, reels about the sirens, about what's happening. So now it's just a matter of how can you manage that information flow depending on their age.
I mean, we are living in an age where social media does control most of the things. I mean, even though the thing is, the moment you give them a pep talk about what's happening, and then social media comes in and starts to overflow their brain with information that are unnecessary.
Yeah. So this is where you guide them and you show them the proper sources on social media itself to be like, look, these are the news so far. This is from our official sources. These are the correct places. They see that you're being transparent, so they also know how to filter it. Because again, we can't control the source of information unless we show them.
All right. Now, how can we create a more emotional safe zone at home with everything that we've said from the beginning of the program? Yeah.
I mean, now they've switched the kids to online, for example, education, and then a lot of parents are also on and off work, so online as well. So now it's a matter of what do the kids enjoy. So stress relieving activities where you have like blowing bubbles, for example, where you do certain things that kind of just give them that safety net.
Yeah.
Make a pillow fort or some corner of the house where it becomes their fun zone and they pick whatever they'd like and set it up how they want. So you do it accordingly to what they need and then just go with it. Doesn't matter if it's a bit messy right now. I think we've earned that.
I mean, I'm the kind of dad that actually love when my kids actually do a mess at home because you can clean it up in the end of the day. Yes, but it is a way for them to be more creative rather than shutting them down, because at the end of the day, you're not living in a household where you're giving orders as if you're in the army. They have to be creative at the end of the day. Now, with that said, I mean, parents also kind of have stress with all of this, stress of what's happening, let's say, from the outside, plus the stress of taking care of the kids, plus the stress of maybe not sleeping. So how can we actually de-stress ourselves and deload from all of this?
So this is where awareness is key, knowing what is it that you're exactly feeling, naming that. So a lot of parents will feel anxiety, they'll feel stress, they'll feel tension. Sometimes people are worried about what's this going to look like financially. If you're business owners, what is it going to look like for my income? So de-stressing would look like naming them, first of all. Second of all, what things would work for me, these micro reset rituals that would work for me. So for me, for example, romanticizing a skincare ritual in the evening every night. Like, so just something that you look forward to despite everything. And for some people, it could be their cup of coffee in the morning. The gym or working out at home if they're too afraid to go out. So finding something to ground yourself, but also allows you to release that energy tension somewhere through movement.
Well, for me, being an OCD person, I love cleaning and just reorganizing everything, and that's what actually grounds me at home. I try to find my safe, happy zone there, and just cleaning, vacuuming, and just washing clothes, and just hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah.
Now, with that, how can we actually find a positive spirit in this kind of situation?
At this point, it's just looking at what you want to focus on.
Okay.
I can choose to focus on the unknown and focus on trying to control that when it's really not in my control, or I can choose to focus on what is within my control. So what is within my control? My thoughts, my feelings, my information, how often do I check the news, who I'm surrounding myself with, what am I doing with my time? That's my control. But I cannot control external events. So if I'm going to put my focus there, it's going to derail me.
Well, there's another problem, like when people actually, when you try to find your positivity, and you do find it, people try to take it, not take it away, but try to, want to have a little bit of that, and they try to, pull it away from you in some sense, but in a good way. Like, for example, you're sitting with your parents, and they see that you're positive, and they want that positive energy, and you just give it to them, and then you start to have lack of it. How can I basically, find a middle ground between this, especially if you're in a big household?
Well, people are going to have different coping mechanisms and coping strategies, right? So some people are going to be the worriers, some people might be expressing a lot. It's not yours to carry. So then again, what can I control, what I cannot control? I cannot control people. What I can do, however, is if they have concerns or questions, I'll be there as a support, but I also have this barrier where it's like, it's not mine to carry their worries, their fears, because I have enough right now.
Okay, I got you. So now with that, what message would you love to leave to our dear viewers when it has to do with them feeling anxious and worried, and what are the daily things that you could tell them to do so that they can actually de-stress, deload, be positive, try to care for their child, focus on them, focus on being positive, that kind of thing?
I would honestly like to just leave for everyone that I know things look very different right now than what we're used to, and yeah, things are going to happen, and even if it's not this, it's something else, like back then when it was in COVID, right?
Yeah.
And we adjusted, we adapted, and I think as a population we're quite strong with that. So I think just have faith in yourself and in each other, and trying to look for different ways that you can adapt your routine to be stable as best as you can, and give yourself grace.
Actually, that's a very wonderful example that you did when you spoke about COVID. We can do, learn from our past experiences and apply it to now. In some sense, we've been through a lot in our life, and a little bit of experience can go a long way. And not remembering exactly what happened in COVID, but just the things that fine-tuned our emotion and fine-tuned our personalities in those moments of kind of dark places, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for being here at Good Morning Kuwait, Oraib, and we hope to see you soon again.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Now, all thanks to our guest, Oraib Alfozan, PCC and MSc, Head of Learning and Development Executive Coach. Now, with that, dear viewers, we're going to go for a short break, and we'll be right back for more, so stay tuned and don't go away.